Hey everybody, I've got a really cool instrument here yet again. This is a very special bass because I don't know that George has made a heck of a lot of them. This is an Fbass Alain Caron signature with some very special upgrades. We've got a flamed redwood top with matching headstock cap. And a beautiful, you can see my window reflection there, beautiful flamed maple one-piece body, because George does one-piece bodies on these. Generally they're not this flashy, but this is cool. Usually on the base model, B-A-S-E that is, he goes with a spruce body on the regular one. So this is maple, so we're looking at a different tone. Other thing is, this is a three-piece maple neck. There's the center part there, generally where they fit the truss rod in. F-Bass truss rods are awesome. They work really well, very effective. This one's great and it works. It's got plenty of torque on it, which I like. So for a fretless bass, the action can get really stupid low. Got a lot of moi, got a lot of sizzle going on. Very expressive instrument. Probably one of the best fretlesses you can buy today. Yeah, so it's very cool. I love the wood bridge on these. George does do the hip shot version as well, or a hip shot bridge on them as well. Those generally generate more attack, and I believe these go more of a warm, kind of a sustained tone, more trying to get more uprighty. That's the idea. And then with the more upright tonal universe per se, he goes with the piezoelectric pickups, and I mean that is standard on Alain Caron's model, but it's just such a cool addition to a fretless because you've got it right in the bridge, and then he's got the magnetic, kind of like I said, it's an F-Bass pickup, proprietary to what they make in Hamilton. It's single coil and dual coil, so I've got it pulled up at the moment. This is basically the button, so now you might be able to hear the buzz a little bit. By the way, I've got it hooked up to my two Bergantino NV115s, sealed cabs. I love them. They're 15-inch cabs, well, two 15s in two cabs, and then you get a bonus 6 mid-range. No tweeter and no tweeter control, so you just plug in and it's awesome. But not to talk about that too much. And then the amplifier I'm using is a B-amp, so that's a pretty cool Class D rig. I really like it. 800 watts, it's loads. I use it to just play at home. I'm into really powerful stuff in general. Yeah, so I think the only thing I didn't mention on this bass is the Gaboon ebony fretboard. It's got a little bit of figuring in it, but generally George goes with stuff that's pretty much jet black. He does do, because I've had someone else inquire about this, the little fret markers. They're based off of like a fretted bass per se. So if you play fretted bass, it's a lot easier to play one of these because they've got all the marker positions plus your side dots. Sometimes when people go with an unlined, a lot of luthiers, like I know one is wall, the side dots are actually at the frets. So that's a little different because that's the world of upright, really. And I totally get some people aren't too keen on that. Others can work with it. I personally like this method because it's more like a fretted bass per se, right? You could actually have George add fret lines to this if you really wanted to, and it's not a heck of a lot of money, but I wouldn't do it. I like this arrangement, to be honest. Yeah, so just general things on the Fbass preamp, which maybe not all you guys get. It's different on the Alain Caron, just by a little, not a heck of a lot. First top control here is for the magnetic pickup. It's down for single coil and then up for hum canceling. You can see the difference. With the piezo, it's actually down for off, so you don't have it at all, and this doesn't do anything, but you have to pull it up to actually turn it on. And then in addition, we have a third push-pull on the tone knob, which is active passive. Up is for passive. Or sorry, I think act is, I might have this double check because yeah, up is passive. And down is the boost only EQ, which is on the bottom. And I believe it's bass, mid, and treble. And again, it's boost only. So what I like to do is keep it about halfway. Even if you crank it, it's all basically the whole band pass if you're gonna boost it all. Sounds great. It's really more like of a jazz bass kind of preamp in my opinion. It really boosts all the right frequencies and sounds great, but if you don't want it at all, it's pretty easy. Also, I said that's the really cool thing is in active and passive mode, which you know it's really operating the same way, is if you do have all the controls set to 0, which is basically full on, I guess that's counterclockwise, I think. It's basically the same as if you pull in or out the tone knob, which is pretty cool. So anyway, we'll put it in more or less passive mode. I don't got anything boosted. I have the magnetic pickup on, and we're not on full. I can put it on probably full. The piezo is off. Separates this bass from the standard model Alain Carons is actually the woods this bass is built out of. The Redwood top on this, the flamed Redwood, I personally think, and of a lot of experience I've had, you guys, I think a lot of people know me on talk bass, this top actually adds a lot of extra to a fretless. It adds a lot to other basses too, in my opinion. It's got a really unique tonal characteristics that brings out this certain added mid-range that's really, really cool. A little bit more on the modern side, per se. For the purists out there, maybe they don't want a top, but I think with these you have to get them anyways. But this just to me adds so much more. And I believe the standard, like Alain Caron is, I think it's like just a maple top or whatever, with like a matte finish, piano red or whatever the heck he uses for that. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's really, really beautiful. They're still great instruments, absolutely. They all are really. That whole line is amazing. But I think this one, it just has this added bonus that's just so cool. So good blooms. Sounding B. The other thing, as George uses with his F basses, is the taper chord labella super steps. Very cool, different kind of concept in a string. The fact that by adding the taper chord actually improves the string's fundamental. So the only thing I've ever really found with them is like on a fretless, it doesn't necessarily matter in my opinion. Dead strings, new strings, there's not a hell of a lot of difference. But when it comes to like an F bass B and 5, I find that they would deaden pretty quick because they stay really bright and they sound amazing right at the beginning. But you get a lot more of the fundamental as they age kind of thing, and they just get old and dead a lot faster. So I kind of like the round wounds a little better on an F bass, but on this, it's awesome. It's made for it. You kind of have to use a tapered chord string because the fact that you've got the the piezos, so you're kind of committed to that. But believe me, I think if you can believe that on the Anthony Jackson presentation that Federa builds, it's the same string he uses. So an amazing jazz musician uses something like that too. You know, it's a really cool thing to commit to, something very different, right? But in my opinion, it's a fretless. Why would you really need to change these strings at all? I think that's great just the way it is. Just my opinion. Other people have many different ideas. They like to change things and make stuff new. So now let me add in, back this off, and there's the piezo. Now I'm playing just above the pickup. As soon as you start playing over the fretboard, you get a lot more kind of bloomy. Sorry, this weird playing position I got here to try and show the bass and stuff. It's not my best playing, but now this is actually with both the piezo and the magnetic pickup together. If I want to more or less shut the magnetic pickup off completely. So this is just the piezo on its own. It's about 3/4. I'll turn it up to full. So a lot more gain at that level. You don't necessarily need it completely full, but I find it's better on around 3/4 or, you know, about 80% of the way. And I honestly think it is better if you do have the other pickup dialed in and you actually do the intonation right on the bass. So the interesting thing is, I don't know if you guys are following, I had a Rob Allen fretless up earlier, and at least I think it was about a couple weeks ago. That is an awesome instrument as well, but that's kind of the nature or the sounds of the piezos. Like it's very, very similar to that in a way, if you guys have had anything like that. So this is a chambered instrument, so you don't see it, but it is actually that way. It's not hollowed out or anything, you can't see it, but it is chambered. So speaking of that, I believe the weight's just shy of 10 pounds, 9.44 if I remember. And yeah, it's a really, really cool instrument. Can maybe add in some EQ for you too. Here we go. So this is about 3/4 of the way. Sorry for all the talk and stuff, guys. Another one bites the dust. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry the video is almost 14 minutes long, but I hope you got a general feel for the sound of the instrument and what it plays like, and actually how unique it is. That's why it's awesome. Anyways, thanks everybody.